Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. Today's video is another of my celestial series. So we've already done all of these tutorials, so they'll be linked in the playlist down below. So we've got the beaded Saturn charm, the beaded crescent moon, the beaded sun and the little starburst. Today's video is going to be for my 3D beaded earth charm, which if you want to turn into a charm, the best way is to take a head pin straight through the centre, up out through the other end, and create a charm in that way. So this is what it looks like. Originally I showed this design, which is a lot smaller and not as round. If you wanted to do this one still, you just have to watch this video for the Saturn, and for the middle part it's the same as this, but I did this with delicate beads, so it looks more like this one, which is a bit smaller. But it's the same pattern, you just have to sort of arrange where you want your green and blue beads to go if you wanted to still do the smaller one. But today I'm going to show you how to do this, and then in the next and final video in the series we're going to be making this alien spaceship. So cute. So to make the earth charm, you're going to need some size 11 seed beads in 3 colours. I'm using round seed beads for this. I do recommend that you use round seed beads, not delicate beads, because it does make, obviously the clue's in the name, it makes a rounder shape for your planet. I'm using blue. This is a Miyuki, that's the colour. I'm using a bright green. I don't have the colour for this, but I think it was called lime green. It's a bright, and this was a check seed bead, and then just any white that you've got. Just make sure they're all the same size, so size 11 I'm going to be doing. You'll also need a beading needle, best to use a size 12 for this. Beading thread, which I'll leave the exact amount in the description box down below. And then, like I said at the beginning, if you want to turn it into a charm, you will need a head pin to go through the centre to create a little charm. So this is going to be quite a complicated pattern, and what I'm going to do is literally go through every single bead that we add with you, instead of like letting you go ahead and tell you how many is in each row, because of the placement of the colours and just how complex the pattern is. I'm going to go through every single bead with you. So this is what my pattern looks like. Haven't done an exact map of the world. I've just tried to kind of put a green patch where all the main continents are, and Australia and Antarctica. So if you don't want to do yours exactly like this, just follow the number of beads that I'm putting down and just make your own colour pattern as you go. But this is what mine looks like, just so you know before you start. I think just from the colours and the way that it looks, you can just tell what it is. So thread your needle onto your thread, and then you want to pick up 4 white beads to begin. You're going to slide those down onto your thread, leaving about 5 inches so that you can tie some knots at the end, and then you're going to go through that first bead to bring them together into a circle. So this, we're going to pick up 1 white and go straight through the next bead. Then we're going to pick up 1 blue, straight through the next bead. Picking up 1 blue, coming out of this one and going straight through the next bead. And picking up 1 more blue, coming out of this one, straight through the next one and through the one above as well. Pull that nice and tight. So you should have this. This time we're going to pick up groups of 2, starting with picking up 2 blue. Coming out of here, you're going to skip over 1, go through the next one. Pick up blue, green, skip over 1 and go through the next one. This time picking up blue, blue, skipping over 1 and through the next one. And for the last 2, you're picking up 2 green, skipping over 1 through the next one and up through 1 above. So that's our first group of 2 that we added, but you want to be coming out through just the first one, so you're in the centre of those 2. So you have this, so you're coming out the centre, so we're going to be adding a single bead in the centre of all of those and then in between as well. So starting with a blue and going straight through that next bead in that group of 2. Oops. And then picking up a green. We're going to skip over 1 and go through the next one. So now you're between that next group of 2. And then we're going to pick up a green and going straight through that next bead, which is the green bead. And again, we're going to pick up a green. This time we're going to skip over 1 and go through the next one into that next group of 2. This time picking up a blue, going straight down through the next bead. And again picking up a blue, this time skipping over 1 and going through the next one. And then picking up a green, coming out of here, go straight down through the next one. And then the last bead of the row is also green, skip over 1, go through that next blue and up into the blue above as well, which is the first bead we added in this row. And then pull it all really nice and tight. The next row is a little bit more complicated. We're going to alternate between putting 1 bead and then 2 and then 1 and then 2. So starting with 1 blue bead, coming out of here, skipping over 1, going through that next green bead. This time we're picking up 2 green beads. We're coming out of here, we're going to skip that blue, go through that next green bead. Picking up 1 green bead, skipping over 1 and through the next one. This time we're going to pick up green, then blue, skip over 1, go through the next one. And when you add those groups of 2, just make sure you pull it tight so they do pop into the gap. Picking up 1 blue bead, skipping over 1 through the next one. Picking up 2 green beads, skipping over 1 through the next one. Picking up 1 green bead, skipping over 1 and through the next one. And ending picking up green and blue. So we're coming out of here, skipping over 1, through the next one and up into the one above as well. And pull it tight. So we have this. So for the next row we're going to be adding single beads again, and again whenever we get to excuse me, whenever we get to a group of 2 like these 2, we're also going to be putting a bead in the middle of those as well. So there's only 4 groups of 2, sorry. So we're going to be putting a bead in between those and then in all the gaps as well. And I've actually laid them out, so if you understood at all what I meant by that. So putting a bead in all the gaps like normal and also in between the groups of 2. I've laid them out so you can see the colour order already if you did want to zoom ahead, and also to make it easier for me to pick them up. rather than having to look back at my sheet all the time while I'm filming. So the first bead we're going to pick up is blue. Coming out of here, we're going to skip over one, go through the next one, coming out in the middle of those first group of 2. Next, we're going to pick up a green bead, and like I said, we're going to go straight through that next bead to place the bead in the middle of the group of 2. Next bead is going to be green again, this time skipping over one, going through the next one. Next one is green as well, skipping over one, going through the next one. The next bead is blue, going straight through the next bead. And the next bead is blue, skipping over one through the next one. Picking up one blue, skipping over one through the next one. Picking up one green, going straight through the next one. Picking up a green, skipping over one through the next one. Picking up a green, skipping over one through the next one. This time it's a blue, straight through the next one. And last bead is going to be green, so we're going to skip over one, go through the next one and up into the one above as well, like that. Okay, pull that through, and like always you want to pull that nice and tight. So we have this. Next row is just going to be picking up single beads again and just doing normal peyote stitch, so picking up one, skipping over one, going through the next one all the way around. So if you're zooming ahead, this is your colour sequence. If you want to pause it there and just follow that, and then I'm going to show you, so starting with blue, skipping over one through the next one. Then it's green and do the same thing. Then it's going to be blue, skip over one through the next one. And then green, skip over one through the next one. Blue, through the next one on the top row. Blue, through the next one. And blue again, skip over one through the next one. Then it's going to be adding a green in the same way. And another green, and then a blue, and a blue, and then the last bead of the row is going to be blue as well. So skipping over one, oops, coming out of the green, we're going to skip that blue through the next 2 blue ones above and pull it nice and tight. Now it should just start to curve up slightly at this point. So for this next row we're going to alternate between picking up groups of 2 and then single beads and just going to add them in the same way, skipping over one and through the next one. So this is your sequence, so I've grouped the 2s and then the single beads together, so if you want to get ahead with that. So the first 2 is going to be blue, green. So coming out of here we're going to skip over one, go through the next one. And then we're going to pick up a single green bead, skip over one, through the next one. Then it's going to be 2 blue, skipping over one and through the next one. And then a single blue bead, skipping over one through the next one. Then it's going to be a group of 2 blues, adding that in the same way. And then a single green bead. And then green followed by blue. And then green on its own. And then the next group of 2 is going to be 2 greens. And then it's going to be a single blue bead, followed by a group of 2 blues, And the final bead of the row is also going to be blue, single blue bead. So coming out of here, this keeps going out of focus, coming out of here, skipping that one underneath through the next 2 blue beads. So you'll be coming out of the middle of a group of 2 like that, and we just need to move on through one more bead through that green bead so that we're coming out of the end of that group of 2 rather than through the middle like that. So for the next row, this is your sequence. We're picking up single beads, and when you get to going through, for example, when you get to adding the bead here, you're going to go through the groups of 2 as if they are one bead. We're not putting one in the middle this time, we're just going through both of them, there, and all the groups of 2, you're just going to go through them both at the same time. So starting by picking up 1 green bead, let me just sort this focus out. We're going to skip over 1 and go through the next single bead. Next is going to be another green bead. We're going to skip over 1 and go through the next 2. Then it's going to be a blue, again skipping over 1 and through the next one, and another blue, skipping over 1 through the next 2, picking up another blue, skipping over 1 through the next one, and then picking up a green, skipping over 1 through the next 2, another green, skip over 1 through the next one, and then picking up another green, skipping over 1 and through the next 2, and another green, picking up 1, skipping over 1 through the next one, and then we're going to swap to a blue, skip over 1 and through the next 2, picking up 1, skipping over 1, this is blue, through the next one, and the last bead is also blue. So you're coming out of here, skipping that one underneath through the next 2 and up into the one above. So through the next 2 and the one above. Pull that through and now pull that tight. So for the next row, we're alternating between picking up single beads and then groups of 2 again and adding them in the same way that we always do. So this is your sequence: single, group of 2, single, group of 2, and so on. I'm going to get that out of the way so we focus. So starting with a single green bead, skipping over 1, going through the next one. So for your groups of 2s, picking up 2, this is going to be 2 blue, you're going to skip over the 2 underneath and go through the next single bead on the top row. And then picking up 1 green, skip over 1 through the next one. Picking up 2 blue, skip over 2 through the next one. Picking up 1 blue, skip over 1 through the next one. Picking up 2 blue, skip over 2 through the next one. Picking up 1 green, skip over 1 through the next one. Picking up 2 green, skipping over 2 through the next one. Picking up 1 blue, skipping over 1 through the next one. Picking up 2 blue, skipping over 2 through the next one. Picking up 1 blue, skip over 1 through the next one, and then the final 2 of the row is going to be blue, green. We're going to skip over 2, go through the next one and through the one above as well, so through those 2. pull it nice and tight, and right now we should have this. So the next row we're going to be picking up single beads and going through like we normally do, and when you get to a group of 2 you're going to again go through them both at the same time as if they were one bead. So we're just putting beads in between all of the gaps and going through the groups of 2 both together. And this is your sequence if you're speeding ahead. So first bead you're going to pick up is blue, skipping over one and going through the next one, next 2, sorry. Almost caught me out straight away. The next bead is going to be blue, skipping over one through the next one. Next bead is blue, skip over one through the next 2. And the next bead is blue, skip over one through the next one. Next bead is also blue, skipping over one through the next 2. And then another blue, skip over one through the next one. And then we're going to pick up one green, skipping over one through the next 2. Then it's going to be blue, skipping over one through the next one. Again blue, skip over one through the next 2. Picking up one, skipping over one through the next one. That's going to be blue, sorry, I forgot to say. Picking up blue, skipping over one through the next 2. And then the last bead is going to be green. So picking up one, skipping over one through the next one and up into the one above as well, like always. Pull that through and keep it pulled really nice and tight. So the next row is going to be picking up groups of 2 and then single beads and alternating. So this is the colour order. So we're going to start with picking up a group of 2, picking up 2 blue, skipping over 2 and going through the next one. Then picking up a blue, skipping over one through the next one. Then we're going to pick up green followed by blue, skipping over 2 through the next one. Then it's going to be single blue, skipping over one through the next one. Then we're going to pick up 2 blue, skip over 2 through the next one. Then we're going to pick up a single bead of a single blue, sorry, skip over one through the next one. Then we're going to pick up green followed by blue, skip over 2 through the next one. Picking up a single blue, skipping over one and through the next one. Then picking up 2 blue, skipping 2 and through the next one. Picking up a single blue, skipping 1 through the next one. Picking up 2 blue, skipping 2 through the next one. And then picking up a single green bead as the last bead, skipping over 1 through the next one and up through the 2 after that as well. So this is what we have. We're coming out of here, we're skipping that green bead underneath, going through the very next blue one and then through the 2 blue after that. Pull that through and pull it nice and tight. This is what we have so far. Okay, so we're picking up single beads this time, going through the groups of 2 together as if they're one bead. And this is your sequence. Do you want to pause that? Okay, so starting with a blue bead. So we're going to skip over one, go through the next one. And then we're going to be doing a green, skipping over one and going through the next 2. So you're just alternating, picking up one, skipping over one through the next one. This is going to be blue, sorry, I forgot to say. Picking up a blue, skipping over one through the next 2. Picking up a green, skipping over one through the next one. picking up a blue, skipping over one through the next two, and then picking up a blue, skipping over one through the next one, again blue, skip over one through the next two, pick up a blue, skip over one through the next one, and another blue, skip over one through the next two, another blue, skipping over one through the next one, and the last bead of the row is blue as well, skipping over one through the next two and up through one above as well. So skipping over one, through two, up through one. Pull that through and pull it nice and tight. So next row is going to be just adding single beads all the way around, and normally on this like alternating row we'd pick up one, skip over one, go through one, pick up two, skip over two. This time we're doing single beads, so we'll be picking up one, skipping over one through the next one, picking up one, skipping over two through the next one, skip over one, then skip over two, so alternating in that way, picking up one bead each time. And this is your colour sequence, basically 2 green at the start and then the rest of the row is going to be blue. So here we go, picking up one green, skip over one through the next one, picking up one green, skip over two through the next one. Oh, I keep getting caught on the corner of my bead mat and it's really annoying me now. Okay, so picking up a blue, skip over one through the next one, picking up a blue, skipping over two through the next one, picking up blue, skip over one through the next one, picking up a blue, skipping over two through the next one, pick up a blue, skip over one through the next one, picking up blue, skipping over two through the next one, picking up one, blue, skip over one through the next one. I'm forgetting what, I'm losing track of what I'm saying. Picking up a blue, skipping over two through the next one. I'll be saying this in my sleep. Picking up a blue, skipping over one through the next one. And the last blue, so let me zoom in a little bit. So we're coming out of here, we're skipping over two through the next one and up through the one above. So up through blue and green. Like that. So we're finally decreasing, which means we're near the end. Yay! So pull that nice and tight and it should start to cinch in a little bit like that. So you want to pull that really nice and tight. You don't want any loose threads showing too much on this. So keep pulling it tight. So the next row is going to be just adding single beads again, skipping over one and through the next one. And the sequence is just basically the first bead is green and then the rest of the row is blue. So picking up your green, skipping over one through the next one, then blue all the rest of the way around if you want to zoom ahead. So picking up one, blue, skip over one through the next one, picking up a blue, skipping over one through the next one, another one, skip over one through the next one, pick up a blue, skip over one through the next one, pick up blue, skip over one through the next one. Does get a little bit trickier to hold now because you can't really get hold your finger in the middle of it. Picking up one, skipping over one through the next one, picking up one, skipping over one through the next one, picking up one, skipping over one through the next one, pick up one, skip over one through the next one, whoa, pick up one, skip over one through the next one, and then the last bead, blue of course, skip over one through the next one, up through the one above. Pull it nice and tight. And we have this. So for the next row, I'm not going to lay it out for you because it's all blue beads. Like every single bead you pick up is going to be blue. We're picking up single beads, but I'm just going to show you what to do because it's a bit more complicated to explain. Start by picking up one, skipping over one and going through the next one. And then you're going to pick up one, you're going to skip over one, and you're going to go through the next two on the top row. So essentially you're skipping over one, going through one, skipping over one and going through one. So like that. So skipping over one, going through the next two on the top row. And then we're going to do that again. So picking up one, skipping over one, just through the next one. And then the next bead is going to be picking up one, skipping over one, and again we're going to go through the next two on the top row. And then picking up one, skipping over one through the next one, and then picking up one, skipping over one and through the next two on the top row, and then picking up one, skipping over one through the next one, and then this is the last bead of the row, picking up one, skipping over one through the next one, skip over one through the next one as well, which can be a bit fiddly. If you can't get in there, just take your needle into that bead separately first to kind of get the hole into a good position. So we're coming out of here, we're picking up one, skipping over one through the next one, skipping over one through the next one after that, which is really being awkward for me. So if you're like me and it won't go through both at the same time, sorry if I'm confusing you now. So back to where we were, we're picking up one, you're going to skip over one, go through the next one, and then without picking up a bead, skip over one and go through the next one. And I don't know why it's easier to do it from that angle rather than going like that. And then you want to go up into the bead above. Okay, so when you pull this tight, those little skips over the second beads that we did is going to cinch together. So make sure you pull it really tight at this point. So we have this. So for the next row is going to be single beads, and here's your sequence: white, 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 blue, blue, white, white, blue. So we're making Antarctica. So starting with a white bead. So we're coming out of here, skipping over one through the next one, and then another white. So this time you've got those two beads that were cinched together in the row below. So coming out of here, skipping those two beads and going through the next one. And then another white, skipping over one through the next one. And then it's going to be a blue, and again you're going to skip those two beads underneath and go through the next one. And then another blue, skipping over one through the next one. And then it's going to be white, skip over the two underneath through the next one. Another white, skip over one through the next one. And then the final bead is blue. We're going to skip over the two underneath, which is the green, the blue and the green, through the next one, and up through the white bead as well. Okay, pull that nice and tight. So we have this, we're almost there. So for this row, we're going to start by picking up one white, and we're going to go through the next two on the top row, which is going to be these two white beads. So skipping one through the next one, skipping one through the next one. And again, picking up one white and going through the next two on the top row, which is these two blue beads. So again, skipping one through the next one, skipping one through the next one. And we're going to do that two more times. So picking up a white and going through those next two on the top row, which is the two white beads. And then picking up a white. And so this is where you have to concentrate. So we're coming out of here, you're going to skip one through the next one. and then you're going to skip one without picking up a bead, skip one through the next one and up into the one above as well. Pull that nice and tight. So now we have this. So now all that you need to do is to go through those last 4 beads to bring them together. So I'm just going through all of those, pull it nice and tight and go through them again. I'm going to actually go through them 3 times, through all of them 3 times, to bring them all together. Make sure that you leave enough of a gap so that when you want to put your head pin through, you can do that. You don't want to close it up so much that you can't get your head pin through. So just going through those until it feels like it's nice and secure and it's not going to keep opening up. And then that's our globe all finished. So now all that's left to do, if you're ready to cut off your threads, is to tie some knots. So I'm just going to move up through a couple of beads. It doesn't matter where you tie your knots. I'm going to try and do it close to the bottom here, but I just want to move away a little bit from the centre. So whichever bead you're coming out of, you want to take your needle under the threads that are connecting the bead you're coming out of to the next one. So you want to find those threads and take the needle under them. I don't know if you can see that, the threads are a little bit see-through, but take your needle under those threads and create a small loop and go up through that loop twice. Pull that down, pull it really tight until you feel it tighten, and then always make sure that you never cut your thread right next to a knot. You want to sew away through the piece for quite a way before you cut your thread, but you can go ahead and tie some more knots and then cut off your thread and then do the same with your tail thread and we'll be all finished. So once you tie off your threads, then that's your planet Earth all finished. So this is how they turned out. Can't believe I got the pattern right, because I only made the sample one once and I wrote the pattern as I went, and I was writing, like, I'll show you what it looks like. I've crossed it out now as I've gone along, but like blue, green, 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 blue, 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 and it's so complicated. And when I came to follow it again in this video, I thought, how am I going to follow this? But it actually worked out. So if you're seeing this, then that's why, because it did work out. Yay, and they're exactly the same. So I actually wrote my pattern pretty accurately when I was making this, which is rare. And that is the amount of thread you'll need, by the way. But I will leave that at the start because it's not really much use to you now at the end of the video. So I hope you've enjoyed this and you're able to make one of these. We've got one more video left, like I said. It's going to be for my little spaceship, alien spaceship, and I don't know if you can see, but it's got like a little green, you can see it in person, it's got green beads in the middle of there, so it looks like there's a little alien inside. So cute. So this is going to be the next and final video in my Celestial series. So I hope you've enjoyed this series as well, and comment down below any other ideas for any other series you'd like to see from me. I'm thinking of doing some summer fruits, like a tropical fruit playlist, and then also was thinking of like sea creatures, because I want to do some more, like I've got a dolphin that's been planned for a while and some other summery sea creatures as well. So comment down below any other ideas for me, and like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed to see more of my videos, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Beadingbyhannah, and you can share any pictures you make. I'd love to see if anyone's made the whole series. I'd love to see that over there. Yeah, thanks so much for watching everyone. See you next time. Bye.